Hey there, it's Dave D from DaveD.com, where we help professional service providers close more sales, make more money, and help more clients without spending more money on marketing or working harder. Today, what we're going to talk about are 6 do's and don'ts of an effective Zoom meeting. A Zoom meeting where you actually are doing a sales presentation and trying to close the sale. So let's get right into this bad boy. I've got the list right here. The first thing is, my God, do not use a virtual background or a green screen. Yes, I know Zoom has a really cool feature where you can put whatever background you want in the back. However, that might be fun to do when you're having a meeting with your friends or something like that, but it does not convey professionalism, warmth, or sincerity. We know that the prospect needs to really like us and trust us in order to close the sale. And having something fake in the back is distracting. Best would be for you to have in the back a picture of your family. Now, you can't see mine. I should have mine. There's my beautiful wife right there. I'm kind of blocking it, but also a picture of your family off to the side. If you've got professional certifications framed, you can hang those in the back as well, but make it look very, very natural. So the first don't is don't use a virtual background. The next thing is, don't have the camera looking down on you like this or up your nose like this. No, you want to have it straight on. Now, if you look at what I've got going on here in this frame, that's a pretty good framing, right? So I'm looking directly into the camera, straight on. I'm not looking up. The camera's not looking down on me. Also, the other thing I'd like you to notice is how much space there is in between my head. So you don't want to have a ton of space. So you don't want to have it look like this, right? That's just a really unprofessional look. And you don't want to have it look like this. That's equally as unprofessional. What we want is something right in that range right there. So there's just a little bit of space at the top of the frame and from our head. The next thing is, do not use a headset and do not use the internal mic on your computer. The problem with a headset, again, is it's distracting. It doesn't look professional. It doesn't look friendly, someone in a headset. And the next thing is, if you're using computer sound, well, typically the sound on your computer isn't going to be that effective. So you can either use the sound from a high quality webcam, like a Logitech webcam. The sound from that is pretty good. Or you can use a microphone like the microphone that I'm using right here, which is an Audio-Technica microphone. Either of those are going to give you a better quality of sound and make it a more enjoyable professional experience for your prospect. All right. So again, make sure that your sound is good by not using the sound coming from your computer, and don't wear a headset. Even though the sound may look good, it just is distracting and it takes away from the personal feel, which is necessary to close the sale. The next 3 are do's. Do make sure that your lighting is correct so that prospects can clearly see you. The biggest mistake that I see that people are making with Zoom meetings is that they have the brightest light in back of them. Right. The problem is, if you have the brightest light in back of you, all people see is a silhouette. They can't see your face. And obviously, in any type of presentation, any type of meeting, that's not good. But in a sales presentation, it is deadly. You want actual light, the strongest light coming from in front of you. Now, it is nice if you can illuminate the background a little bit, because it'll make you stand out. So I actually have a light here on the floor, okay, which is just shining right up at the wall in back. Now, you don't have to have a fancy setup like that. You really don't. The key is to make sure, though, that people can see you and that you're well lighted. And the key to that is to make sure that the major light is coming from the front. Okay, the next thing is, make sure, this is a do, make sure you close Twitter, you close your email, you close your Facebook, and any type of messaging that can come through. So for example, if you have iMessage and it's hooked up to your computer, you don't want to be doing a meeting, get a phone call and have iMessage ringing in the background. The other thing is, or FaceTime ringing in the background. The other thing is, you don't want things popping up on the screen to distract you from being present with your prospect. And let me tell you, if you really want to close, if you really want to develop rapport with your prospect, and I teach a bazillion different ways in my programs, but the most important way is to be present with your prospect, not to be distracted. Keep your focus on your prospect. So close all of that stuff down so you can be present with your prospect. You can focus on them, on their answers, and on helping them. And then the final tip of our 6 do's and don'ts of having an effective Zoom meeting is to make sure you check your appearance before you go on the camera. Make sure your shirt is not stained. You didn't spill any lunch on it, that there's not parsley in your teeth, because that can be very, very distracting. So what I recommend that you do is not only look in a mirror before you go live, but that you actually, before you go live, you preview, and in Zoom you can do this before you actually show yourself on video to your prospect. You just take a look at yourself. You make sure that the spacing is correct, that the lighting is correct, and that you are looking as professional as possible and your best as possible. So if you follow those simple tips, you'll be off to the races and to creating a really effective Zoom meeting that'll close sales for you. Hey, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I'd love to read your comments as well. If you want to learn how to sell via virtual meetings, then subscribe to this channel. But most importantly, you want to go to daved.com. That's daved.com, and subscribe to my daily D-mail newsletter. You get also a really cool free report about creating virtual sales presentations. So thanks so much for watching this. Take these tips, use them, and I can't wait to hear your successes. I'll talk to you again really soon.